Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Rick dropping in on you. Hope everybody is having an unbelievable start to your week. Well, hell, it's Wednesday. I hope that you're having a great week. I hope that you're closing out the year strong. It is Wealth Building Wednesday, and I am going to try to move through this quickly. I want to share something with you, and I hope that it gives you some enlightenment. There's so much to travel through, and we'll be doing this throughout the year. Just traveling through principles, developing understanding of different financial mechanisms, different wealth building mechanisms, how things move, how to understand the economy better, how to understand the market better, how to build at a pace that serves your desires, your needs, your visions, your dream, while also hedging and protecting yourself against risk and loss as much as possible. Um, Before I get started, I want to point you to the description box. Legacy Wealth Academy is something I created. I've just really opened it up to the masses. It was initially created for people who really wanted to try to get on and make some things happen in their lives. This is not a get rich quick scheme. This is not some you go here and you learn all the tricks and you become a billionaire. There's so much to developing and understanding of. There's so many things operating and moving, so many pieces that I want to show people in a systematic way, the best way to build, get started, and deal with the volatility, the fluctuation, the movements that are going to impact your efforts. This isn't jump on the board and surf to heaven. It doesn't work that way. Trust me, I've been riding the waves for a while. But there's a consistent way of getting somewhere that takes time, that takes focus. But you remember, you're not just building for the moment, you're building for the future, which includes the future of your progeny. So just keep that in mind. So if you want to learn about legacy wealth, there is a nice little write-up in the description box that tells you all you get with the program, including a lifetime membership to the Epic Realm community, which is a community I created of high achievers, most of which are former clients of mine that have done some unbelievable things and are willing to work and share with others. And so that's a lifetime membership that is normally $100, but if you sign up for Legacy Wealth Academy, which is a 6-month course, and you'll learn by some of the things I just cover on these Wealth Building Wednesdays, just about how much there is to cover. And these are intensive, multiple week courses, multiple courses in the week type thing, but it is to get you up and on board and as caught up in the curve as you possibly can. You should be reading, you should be studying, you should be learning, you should be looking into and researching the things you see, you hear, so you gain understanding about how things move. So in the title, Wealth Building was what happens when the chef doesn't eat his own cooking? And it's obviously me using a play of words to talk about behavior within the financial market. I want to start with something that took place in 2008, 2009. There was a bill put on deck in the nation's capital. It was the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act bill. And it was meant to provide protection from people who were taking major hits from Wall Street firms and other conglomerates in the financial industry. About a year later, after a bunch of lobbying from the financial community, what we got was a bill that really didn't have a whole lot of teeth, but it looked like the government was trying to protect its citizens. Uh, More than the Dodd-Frank bill, to me, is the question that should have arose in the minds of the people who were aware that the bill was on deck in the first place. Not that the bill didn't really come through on delivering any real true protection for consumers and for investors and for people who are allowing people to manage their financial future and their financial interests. What the question should have been was, who do we need protection from? If this bill is out there, who can negatively impact our financial progress? Well, first and foremost, we can most definitely impacted. In some way, we're always going to be the primary impactor of our finances by the way we choose to move and operate. There are going to be external forces always moving about us that we have to learn how to navigate and manage. But it's going to be up to us to make the right choices. My hits have come because I made decisions that I later regretted. Some was out of arrogance, some was out of over exuberance and aggression. Then you look back and say, probably shouldn't have did that, but it was me. Some, it's just, it comes with the time. Timing is extremely important in any endeavor where you're choosing to elevate yourself. Finance is no different. But let's get into some specifics about this so that I can get out of your hair and you can do what you want to do. For those who are seriously looking at this, again, this is one of the reasons you should really want to join and enroll in the Legacy Wealth Academy, because we're going to cover all of this and 100 times more in a 6-month period with specificity to your specific desires and what you're trying to do. We're not there selling investment packages. We're not there trying to get, this is about showing you what to do, teaching you what to do, and you going out and finding opportunities to do it. And I wanted it that way because I didn't want conflicting interests. Well, okay, so we go through that. So what are some things outside of yourself that put you in a situation where you could be negatively impacted? And it's going to be in the financial world. So we're going to look at a couple of things. The people we trust to manage our financial future and protect our financial interests. Some of these people are going to be brokers who sell overpriced mutual funds. What do I mean by that? Anybody that understands actively managed mutual funds, you understand that winning in that is extremely difficult. And what you'll find is oftentimes, you've heard me say this, the winners in the investment market have some understanding about certain things that they are going to automatically be aware of before they ever move into an investment, before they ever invest. It's going to be, how much does this investment cost? What are the tax liabilities? I'm looking for asymmetric risk reward, and how does it fit into my diversification strategy? Those are going to be things that they're going to always look at. Well, how much does it cost is, how much am I paying my broker? How much am I paying my financial manager? How much am I paying my advisor to broker this deal for me? And does it make sense? What are they selling it at? And what are their commissions? Here's one of the things that you have to look at and understand is, that was a study done, I want to say 2009 as well, I could be wrong, where, and there was another one recently done, I want to say 2019, where they found that 49% of managers of actively managed mutual funds, which only win about 4% of the time, 90% of the time, it's a miss. But 49% own absolutely no stock, no percentage of the funds they're managing. That's definitely the chef not eating their cooking. And even the 51% who do own shares, it's a token share. It's to say I own stock in it, to build the confidence of the people they're trying to sell that particular mutual fund to. So that's one thing. You've got frequency traders who are robbing banks of billions every year. That's one thing you get traded to. You got also money managers and brokers who have packages they're selling because of commission rates versus whether they are actually the best deal for their particular clients. And so there are a number of other different things you can look at. There are major firms who are misappropriating the funds of the clients that are investing in those funds. And then when they go upside down, they simply file bankruptcy, leave the client holding the bag, and move on to the next thing under a new name, new corporate identity, and whatever. These are just some of the things that that bill was supposed to protect us from that it didn't. And we even learned in 2012, 2013, that Another place that we needed protection from, we needed fiduciary awareness, a fiduciary presentation by 401k managers, because we were finding that a great deal of loss that 401k owners were experiencing, account owners were experiencing, was in the area of unknown fees to the tune of $17 billion a year. So $17 billion a year was being ciphered out of 401ks just in fees alone. That's not other things, that's fees. And so there was a push to make a more fiduciary representation of how money was being deducted or what the fees were. And even in that, it went from a 50-page report to down, I think, 20 pages, but still the terminology wasn't for the average person. The understanding of how things were going to be applied wasn't for the average person. You still needed a financial advisor, a financial manager, somebody who understood how the terminology, understood how the system works, to explain to you where your fees were going, how much money it was costing you to operate that 401k. And it goes on and on and on. So what do we do about this? The first thing is educate yourself. You need to educate yourself. I believe it was Jim Rohn says that the people who win in this life invest in themselves and in their education. You cannot get around it. You're going to have to invest time, energy, and in some instances, money to learn how to play this game. The one thing you don't want to do, you want to play this game. If you want to win and you want to get in finance, you need to learn about investing, not just in the market, not just in the stock market, but in other areas that produce long-term results. Real estate is definitely something that I think everybody needs to be. You need to own property. Property is so valuable over the long term and in so many different ways. And there's so many different ways you can leverage it outside of cash that you really, truly need to be aware of that. Well, that's that part. But how do we get outside of it? Okay, we need to educate ourselves. Then we need to understand that there are going to be things we want to do where there are people who simply know how to do it better and have access to what we need in a way that we don't. And these are our fund managers, our brokers, our advisors. And so here's the problem. Out of 330 plus thousand financial managers, financial advisors, brokers, whatever you want to say, people who help people manage their money, licensed brokers and all of that. Out of 330,000, only 10%, 30,000 are what you would call to be fiduciaries. And there's a different standard. The standard is suitability versus viability. The average financial advisor who is not considered a fiduciary only has to give you what is believed to be suitable. Now, suitable is actually highly subjective. There's no equation, a monetary or mathematical equation that can measure suitability. It's still based on that person. And if that person can justify why they thought something was suitable for you, it's going to be hard to hold them legally accountable when you experience loss. But what happens is, with the vast majority of these brokers that are not under a fiduciary standard, they are getting paid based off of commissions. So they're getting paid based off of what they sell. So obviously they're going to sell the stuff to you that brings them the most commission, whether it's right for you, whether it serves the purpose that you're trying to fulfill, whether it takes you to the financial destination you're trying to reach, is a whole nother story. Now, viability is a standard that says, I not only have to give you I have to give you what, in my professional opinion, is going to be the best investment for you. You have the best chance of winning. And in most instances, how this is done is the commission connectivity isn't there. So in other words, where the average financial advisor, the average financial money manager is being paid off of commission, The fiduciary is getting a flat rate from the client. In other words, I'm going to pay you X amount of dollars to give me advice and point me in the right direction. And you don't get more money for pointing me to any one particular thing. So that means I want to point you to the best thing. Why? Because I want you to come back and pay me another flat rate for more advice. So I have a motive to do right by you, because I only get to win with you a second time if you win the first time. And those are the things you need to be aware of, how your money manager, your financial advisor gets paid. Are they getting paid based on what they sell you? If that's the case, then you never know if they're selling you what you really need or not. Now that means if you're gonna go with someone like that, you're still gonna have to research what they're trying to sell you. You can't take their word at it, and you shouldn't take people's word at it anyway. You should become very adjusted to doing your own research. Gaining somebody say you need to learn how to read financials. You need to learn how to read performance histories. You need to look at how companies perform over quarters. How have they fared in previous market declines and market downturns. And those are the things you want to look at. You need to understand where you are in the market, what you're doing, how fast do you want to move, what's your risk tolerance. If you're risk averse, you need to be aware of that. You need to challenge your aversion, but you need to acknowledge it. If you're extremely aggressive, you need to be able to temper that, because sometimes that aggression will get you in trouble. Take it from someone who knows. You have to have an understanding of what is in front of you, how you're going to move, what the possibilities are. And one of the things that you're going to have to understand is that in finance, in investment, in business ownership, in anything where you're building something for yourself and there's this unlimited potential, there's also a risk factor. You don't get unlimited growth. You don't get the access to exponential expansion and growth in anything without having to risk something. You have to put something in the game. That's just how life works. That's how the universe is made. That's how God put. You don't get to play safe and go big. You go big, you take risk. If you want to grow and you want to invest, you want to build your own business, you want to walk away from the job. Now, here's the thing for me, and this is how I look at it. Even people who think they're playing safe aren't safe. There's no such thing as absolute security. You don't own the job. You don't control how long you're going to be on it. Now, you can perform well. You can show up every day. You can be the ideal employee. That definitely will help. But if something goes wrong and they have to cut, they will cut. If something goes wrong and the business goes under, it's under, and you are still left without a means or a stream of income. And you need to be hedging against that type of loss. Markets are going to dictate a lot of that. Sometimes you just have a company that has run its course and it hasn't been prepared for the next stage. You've got to really, when it comes to business ownership, take it from someone who's going through growing pains now. You have to be aware of how rapid the industry and the market is moving and the necessary changes that you're going to have to make in order to keep up with it. And when you get behind the 8 ball on it, it's hard to come from behind it because you're catching up to something that's moving rapidly. We're not in the 80s and 90s any longer where everything is done and the same thing that worked last year works this year. Marketing from the 70s worked in the 90s. Marketing in the 90s doesn't work now. Hell, marketing from the 2000s does not work now. So how you're promoting, how you're engaging your customer, your client as a business owner. So if that's the case, you got to understand all of these business movements, especially the small business market, plays a major role in the impact of the global economy. Small businesses have the most impact on the global economy. Yes, we're trading big company stocks like Apple, like Coca-Cola, and insurance companies and all that. But what stabilizes and keeps things going is how well small businesses are doing. That's the staple of a stable economy. And so you got to be aware of that. how you're playing the game is influencing the global economy, but how everybody else plays the game. And you need to be aware of all the things going on, because if things start to shift in a certain area, you need to know what to do to try to change. And if you don't know, you need to find out. And so it's a constant learning curve. It's a constant reading. It's a constant researching. It's a constant gaining of knowledge and understanding. And you need to get ahead of the curve. The thing is, we live in a world where it's very difficult to operate without capital. Now, you can go off the grid, you can create your own situation, and you can operate if that's the way you want to operate. I know a few people who do it and do it pretty good. But if you're trying to operate within the scope of things where you've got to pay rent, you've got to pay utilities, you got that costs money. If you want to operate in the scope where you're trying to do things to impact lives, that costs money. So everything is going to be dependent on your ability to generate it, to sustain it. But you also have to understand that the way the game is played in this world right now, money is power. If you want your progeny to have power and not be at the whim of someone else's ideas, thoughts, and movements, then you need to also prepare them and build them up and get them ready to be empowered. All of these things matter. I could go on and on about this, but that's the thing I want to touch on. I like dealing with people who eat their cooking. Um, I like chefs who eat their cooking. I want people who feel strongly enough about what they do that they are doing it too. What they're promoting me to do, I want to see how it's serving them at some level. I want to see them practice. And with me, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're blowing out of the water, but I want to see that they believe in what they're talking about. And you show a person what you believe in by what you do. And if you're trying to push something on me and then you're not doing it, then that makes me wonder how much you actually believe in it. On that note, look, I'm about to get out of here. Um, I hope everybody is having a great week. Look, again, if you're serious about doing something different, if you're serious about going into 2023 with a focus and an intent on building wealth, I don't mean any get rich quick schemes. I don't mean, hey, come here and we're going to put this and this. I mean, seriously building a mind to move differently in a way that over time you solidify the future of your progeny, your offspring for generations. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about coming together and creating a like-minded think tank and place where we can come together and help each other grow. I'm going to give you everything that I've learned and I've taught, the things that have served me well in business, the things that have served me well in finance, and give you insight into the path I'm taking now as I restructure, as I rebuild, as I go forward. Um, to me, I'm excited. I can't tell you any other thing. I'm excited. So much has changed in my life, but I'm excited. I am on cloud nine because I see what lies in front of me. And I want to bring as many people as I possibly can along with me. Um, to me, it's about service. It's about helping people. Yeah, you want to make your money, you want to get paid. And if you bring something valuable to the table, you deserve to get paid. But when you look at how many people smile because you came through their life, that's priceless. On that note, look, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here again. Go to the description box, enroll in the Legacy Wealth Program. I guarantee you it's worth it. Um, and I'm excited about it because then after helping you through this program, I get to deal with you moving forward in the Epic Realm community of high achievers. So this is about building relationships as well. All right, on that note, I'm out of here. You guys have an unbelievable remainder of your day. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the share button, and invite other people to check it out. On that note, I'm out of here. You guys take care.